All right. So earlier tonight, I was sharing on Facebook about shared a YouTube video on the Greatest American Hero and some clips of him crash landing because he had, I believe, if I remember correctly, in the series he had lost that part of the instruction for the suit or something along that lines, and so every time the poor guy, tried to land, he ended up ended up crashing. As far as I can remember, though, he's also invulnerable, so it didn't really hurt him. Um, and sorry, the AC's kicking on right about now. It's pretty hot here in Anaheim. It got up to, I believe, 97 today, which for here is pretty warm. Actually, really hot. So anyway, I was sharing something about the Greatest American Hero and something that evoked in my mind all of those crashes, and it's from personal experience. So back in the 90s, 1997 actually, in July, I'd moved down to Southern California from Modesto, and my sister and I both had rollerblades. Now, again, this is from mid to late '90s, and I was probably a year or two behind, maybe even more. Anyway, as far as trends go, I was never really a trendy guy or really cutting edge as far as that goes. But I had a pair of rollerblades that I did not know how to use. I was never really good at roller skating. Never really tried my hand at skateboarding. Wasn't really, didn't feel comfortable doing that either. And there was something about hitting the ground that I just didn't like. And so in this particular case, though, with the rollerblades, I couldn't stop. I had no idea how to stop those things. And my sister's all, oh yeah, you just put, I think you like point your toe up. And so, the brakes were in the back rather than in the front like the old roller skates were. And so with rollerblades, I should probably say, I guess they would also be called inline skates for anybody that doesn't know what rollerblades are, or maybe, I don't even know if they have them anymore, to be honest with you. But again, the pair that I had, I didn't know how to stop, just like this guy didn't know how to land in the series, The Greatest American Hero. And so every single time I put those things on. Now, I lived at a place called the South Coast Racket Club. It was built, from what I can remember, in the 60s. And they called the place where I live South Coast Metro. It was basically where like Santa Ana and Costa Mesa met, and Irvine was right next door also, so everything was sort of in that area. And I worked across the street, kind of across the street and down the road a bit, a block or two, at the South Coast Plaza at the time. I really loved that apartment. It was old, but we had a lot of birds of paradise. I mean, for me, the grounds were maintained pretty well. I know they actually weren't, but it seemed that way to me. They had like these little, man-made sort of creeks, little concrete creeks going through with some foliage, and I just thought it was a nice ambiance. So I used to try and rollerblade through there, and if anyone were to ever see me, I know a few people saw me and they got a good laugh out of it. I did not know how to stop, so instead, I would stop by running into things. And one of those things, I mean, at times it was the iron fence. They had this wrought iron fence that was painted this really nasty shade of green, just sort of this ugly greenish blue that I don't know where they got the idea from, but that was the color. And so if you ever saw me on my inline skates or my rollerblades, again, I didn't like this guy in The Greatest American Hero, William Katt's character. I didn't know how to land, so to speak. I just sort of crashed into everything. Everything from bushes to the iron fence, like the iron fence that was, for instance, around the swimming pool, in that area where you had to have the key to get in. I would slam into there while people were actually in the pool. So it'd be sort of hilarious. It may not sound as funny now, but I imagine it was. You see this really awkward guy, just fumbling on these rollerblades, trying to get a grip and actually trying to have some type of smooth acceleration. And instead, I'm sitting here flailing my arms and legs about and just slamming into this fence. And it hurt. A lot of bumps and a lot of bruises. A couple mild cuts here and there. I ended up in some bushes sometimes, ran over some birds of paradise. I used my car a few times to stop my momentum. And so, you'd see me and I'd hit and double over at the car. So anyway, it was quite interesting. But running down the list, let me see, I hit that iron fence and gate around the pool. I never landed in the pool, thankfully. But Hit plenty of bushes, hit a few trees. And again, these weren't soft landings. These were just smacks right into there. So the bushes, the trees, fences, a car. I'd use like the wooden pole that's holding up the the awning or whatever, the cover for the carports, and whatever I could. I slammed into, like, if I'd go visit somebody, I'd like slam into the front door at the apartment, and like stop myself with the doorknob type of thing. So anyway, I thought I'd share that. It was pretty fun memories of me being very uncoordinated and not knowing how to stop. I was terrified of those things. I'd get on there, and my sister, she, no problem. And other people, friends and relatives of mine, they'd be on those things, and no problem. They'd stop. They do that nice little spin around, almost like they're ice skating, and me, no, I was it was just not happening. I hit a lot of things. All right, well, listen. I know that we're still in the midst of this pandemic, however long it goes on. So I hope everybody, maintains. God bless and keep everybody, and also your loved ones. And I pray and hope that you're safe. And I just thought I'd share that. And so I know sometimes I talk around in circles, and sometimes I would skate around in circles because I couldn't stop. And there was that dread that once I got started, I'm like, oh my God, I'm committed. And there's no stopping at that point until I hit something. All right, well, you all take care. God bless. Bye-bye.